All right, guys, Quinn with 74 Weld here to give kind of an updated walk around on our 23 Bronco wildtrak. I did a first video on this, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. I was out in Death Valley. This vehicle had like 500 miles on it. It was basically bone stock. We'd put portals on it. I think we did a portals, steering rack, and then like a couple little interior things. But since then, I've made a bunch of changes to this. I don't think I've actually changed anything that I put on at that point in time, but I have added a bunch of extra stuff. And so I figured I'd do an update and kind of give you guys a new walk around, because to be honest, like walk around videos do pretty well and they get a lot of views, and that's because like people like seeing what other people have done to their rigs. So, and I get it, like I watch that stuff too. So I usually start at the nose, work our way to the back, and just kind of go through stuff. So I'll just do that. Lighting. Baja Designs XL linkable kit with Squadron S and then a pair of S2s. The cool thing about this, you can just buy the kit and drop it straight into your factory bumper. And that's kind of why I still have not put a winch on this vehicle. I have a worn winch sitting in the box, and I don't think I'm actually going to put it on because Ford didn't give us really any room like behind the grill, and I just haven't seen a front bumper package that I'm like, that's it, I want that one. Is it smart to wheel without a winch? No. You should definitely have a winch, but I also don't really do a lot of wheeling by myself, and I just don't put a winch on this. So, and I did that kind of because I like the light package that's on it, and I didn't really want to throw an aftermarket bumper on. So, stock modular front bumper, factory skid plates, tires. So, I had this vehicle for most of its life, most of the wheeling trips on 38 13.5 Nitto trail grapplers. This is, I actually went down in tire size. This is a 37 12.5 Toyo Open Country RT Trail. I think that a 37 is a better sized tire for a Bronco. And when you run portals, I don't think you need that big of a tire because the gain in ground clearance makes it so much more capable. And I kind of am moving a lot of vehicles from mud terrains to more of an all-terrain tire because it's just better performing on the street. It's just, where do you do most of your driving? If you do most of your driving off-road, yeah, man, mud terrains are great. You do a lot of driving on the street, mud terrains are not that great. So it's pick your poison, you know, figure out what you want to do. Suspension on this. So this was a wildtrak. So in 23, the Bronco wildtrak came with a Haas 3.0 steering rack and Fox 2.5s. Just like the Fox 2.5s that came on my 392 Wrangler, they were way too soft. You'll end up kind of bottoming the suspension. They're probably fine for stock size tires, but adding a portal, adding a big tire. Oh, let me talk about this. The portal adds about 25 pounds of unsprung weight over the factory upright. The 38-inch Nitto, I'm guessing on this, added 50 pounds of weight over the factory tire that came on it. So when we get comments of like unsprung mass of a portal is going to completely disrupt the suspension, you're not wrong, but look at the other components that you're putting on. Big tires make a lot more of an impact than 25 pounds at the wheel of the Portal. So method, same, I think, yeah, same wheels, plus 35 method 705 bead grips. I like a bead grip. I don't think that most people need bead locks. If you're snow wheeling and you're down at 5 PSI, yeah, bead lock's probably a good idea. When I air down to go off-road, 12 PSI, I never hit single digits. I just don't. Unless it's going to go in snow, and that's just different. This has a shock package on it that, boy, I think we spent probably 6-8 months developing this with Fox. So it's a 3.0 internal bypass. And from the outside, it looks just like the Fox shock that you can go buy. The difference is it's a different shaft, it's a different piston, it's different valving, and it's a different inner body with different bypass locations, different rebound catch. Like, everything on this shock has been reworked. And I will say that, like, this vehicle rides like an absolute cloud. The valving is very progressive. And what I mean by that is, while it's real soft at ride, when you smash into something like a G-out or a hard square bump, it doesn't just blow through travel. This shock took a lot of work to get to where it's at, and it's probably, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I think it's the best riding Bronco. And everybody that I've let drive this thing, and a lot of people have driven it, it's kind of one of those vehicles that I loan out to friends, to other people in the industry, like, hey, tell me what you think. Everybody says the same thing. They come back and they go, what shock package is that? And I go, well, this is a shock that I developed with Fox's race department to get tuned to where I wanted. And it's something we sell. They're expensive because the Fox 3.0s are just expensive to begin with. And ours is even more because we have to tear the whole shock apart, replace all the internals, put it all back together. But, you know, we do have guys that once I put them in the vehicle, they go, yes, that's expensive, and yes, I want it. I think when I first shot this video, I don't know, whenever I did it, I had an anti-rock up front. I had the factory sway bar in the rear. I've since then added a Rock Jock anti-rock to the rear, and the reason I had to do that was the rear suspension I changed over to the Rock Crawler Pro X 4-link kit, and the rear suspension on a Bronco I don't like because I don't like a panhard bar on a shorter wheelbase. It makes the ass end of the vehicle feel like it's stepping out. The Rock Crawler kit and the 5-link that the Bronco comes with is, if you look at the way a 5-link works, it's pretty much always binding the suspension. So it can make it feel a lot stiffer. When you go to the Pro X 4-link, the whole vehicle gets a lot more body roll because it's more free moving. So then I had to add more sway bar on the rear. But overall, like, at least there's aftermarket support, and this thing rides really good. Other additions. I had the Rock Slide Engineering steps on it. The Rock Slide Engineering is the happy medium between a side step and a rocker. They're pretty stout, but you're not going to beat on this thing like a frame-mounted rocker is, but I'm also not beating on the Bronco that hard. Yeah, I take it rock crawling. It's been through Rubicon. It's been to multiple trips to Sand Hollow, Big Bear. It's done a ton of wheeling, but I just don't bash on vehicles that hard because, to be honest, like, we still bring them to shows and they still need to look clean. But what I did add on the whole belly was, what's the company? Next Venture Off-Road, Next Venture Motorsports in Colorado. I bought their full aluminum belly like skid protection kit that also has like a layer of UHMW on it. Super awesome product. Yes, I am also pissed off because after I bought this kit, like, I don't know, maybe 6 months later, they now offer this in 70-75 aluminum. So this kit is all out of 50-52 aluminum. 50-52 is easy to bend. It's not nearly as strong as 70-75. I don't have any affiliation with them. I think I met one of the owners once, like 2 or 3 years ago. So no, I didn't get this kit for free or any of that stuff. I paid for it just like you would, and I would highly recommend it. But spend the extra money and buy the 70-75 one. Putting UHMW over aluminum, super smart. UHMW is ultra high molecular weight plastic. And so the beauty of this stuff is when you hit it on a rock, it won't crack, it'll smear. It's like a soft, durable plastic. Really good impact resistance. Just a really good product. I had to cut out the cross member for the transmission, and they provide you a new one. The kit took some time to install, but totally worth it. I don't know if I had fenders on it at the time or not. This is the ADV fiberglass 5-inch kit. ADV hood, had it all paint matched. Added an ARB twin air compressor, and then plumbed it down so we put air outlets on the rock slide steps on both sides, so I can air up or down on that. PRP seat covers, because my kids trash everything nice that I own. If you've got kids, you know the feeling. I think that's it. I put a Funhaver rear bumper on it because Lauren said he wanted to test fit some stuff, and so he sent me one and I bolted it on. But I think, I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I think that's about it. This one has our steering rack in it. It's an upgrade, so you can go from a Haas 2.0 to a 3.0. Now I had a 3.0 in this, but so I just put a housing. I took the steering rack out, threw it in our housing, put it back in. I still run Ford Performance tie rods on this. A note, if you're going to upgrade, I recommend all of our customers, if you want to beef your tie rod, Apex chassis, I think makes one of the best kits on the market. I like tie rods over Heims because I don't want to align the vehicle when the Heims wear out. So, but I still run, I'm still running Ford Performance tie rods because I've never broken them, and I was on 38s. But a lot of that comes down to when the wheel binds, let go. If you're going to muscle it like it's hydro assist steering, you're going to end up running into problems and you will snap stuff. And having a fusible link on the tie rod, I think, is probably a good idea. We're 2 years into steering racks. We don't see housings break. There's 2 failure points that I've seen on our steering. So we'll get phone calls from time to time. Hey, my steering rack is making weird noises. And so we go, okay, now there's 2 things that we've seen. In 2 years, we've seen 2 guys break a belt on, where the motor does like a belt assist or a drive assist. It's connected with a belt. We've tried to source beefier belts. There's nothing else out there. We've seen 2 guys do that. One was on 40s, one was on 42s. The most common failure that we see on steering racks is guys run Heim joint steering. The bolt that goes through the clevis on the rack side ends up wearing a hole into the boot because it's not mounted properly or It just has a sharp edge. They tear the boot, water gets in there, you grenade the steering rack. So I just stick to tie rods, and I think the factory stuff is probably strong enough. Yes, I do carry a spare set in the back of the Bronco in the goose gear drawers, but I've never used them. And I think a lot of that comes down to, you know, how hard you want to drive it. When the wheel binds, let go, take a different line. So I think that's about it. I mean, if I miss something, or if you see something on there that I didn't talk about, throw it in the comments. I'll answer questions. And yeah, any other questions about Bronco in general? Got a lot of experience in them and would love to answer. So throw it in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one.